The night is quiet and a story awaits. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so the night always finds you. The night is quiet and a story awaits. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so the night always finds you. You step off the rattling bus, the engine coughing as it pulls away into the mist. The village of Qiaotou lies before you, a cluster of old stone houses nestled in a valley where the mountains loom like silent giants. You've come here chasing a story, a whisper from an old friend about a haunted bridge, and a ghost that guards it. Your backpack feels heavy, stuffed with a notebook, a flashlight, and a camera you hope will capture something extraordinary. The air is damp, carrying the scent of wet earth and pine, and the sky is a bruised shade of gray, promising rain. You glance at your phone. No signal. The village feels cut off from the world, as if time itself has forgotten it. A narrow path wings toward the river where the old bridge is said to stand. You've heard the tales, a spirit bound to the bridge, a woman who appears only at night, her presence tied to a tragedy no one speaks of clearly. Your friend's email was cryptic, mentioning a name, Mei Lin, and a warning: don't cross the bridge after midnight. It's only 9 p.m., but the darkness here feels heavier than it should as you walk. The village is eerily still. Windows are shuttered, and the only sound is the crunch of gravel under your boots. You pass a small shrine by the roadside, its red paint peeling, incense sticks burned to stubs. A faded photograph of a young woman sits inside, her eyes dark and unreadable. You pause, feeling a chill that has nothing to do with the evening air. The frame is engraved with delicate characters. Mei Lin. Your heart quickens. Is this the ghost? You snap a photo, the flash briefly illuminating the shrine before the darkness swallows it again. The path slopes downward, and soon you hear the river, its waters rushing with a low, restless murmur. The bridge comes into view, an ancient stone, structure arched like the back of a dragon. Moss clings to its edges, and the railings are worn smooth by centuries of hands. It spans the river in a single elegant curve, but something about it feels wrong. The air grows colder as you approach, and your breath catches in your throat. You tell yourself it's just nerves, but your skin prickles as if someone is watching you. You stop at the edge of the bridge, peering into the shadows. The far side is shrouded in mist, and you can't shake the feeling that something is waiting. There, your flashlight beam cuts through the gloom, revealing nothing but wet stone and the glint of the river below. You take a step forward, then another, your footsteps echoing faintly. Halfway across, you notice something carved into the railing, a lotus flower, its petals etched with precision. You trace it with your fingers, and a sudden gust of wind makes you shiver. Was that a whisper? You spin around, but the bridge is. Empty dot, you decide to set up camp nearby, pitching your small tent in a clearing just off the path. The ground is soft, and you work quickly, hammering stakes with hands that feel oddly unsteady. As you build a small fire, the crackle of wood is a comfort, but it doesn't drown out the river's ceaseless voice. You pull out your notebook and jot down what you've seen: the shrine, the name, the carving. Your friend's warning echoes in your mind, and you check your watch. 10:30 p.m. You're not superstitious, but you decide to stay off the bridge for now. As the fire dies to embers, you hear footsteps. slow, deliberate, coming from the direction of the bridge. You grab your flashlight and aim it toward the sound, but the beam reveals nothing. The footsteps stop, and for a moment there's only silence. Then a soft voice calls your name. Not a shout, not a whisper, but clear, like a bell ringing in the distance. Your blood runs cold. No one in this village knows you. You stand, heart pounding, and scan the darkness. The voice comes again, closer now from the bridge. Come, it says, soft as silk. I've been waiting. You hesitate, torn between fear and curiosity. Your camera hangs around your neck, and you fumble with it, hoping to capture whatever is out there. The lens clicks, but the screen shows only mist. You take a step toward the bridge, then stop. The air feels thick, pressing against your chest. You call out, "Who's there?" Your voice trembles, and the only answer is the river's murmur. But you're sure you saw something move, a flicker of white at the bridge's far end. You back away, retreating to your tent. The fire is nearly out, and the night feels alive watching you. You zip the tent shut, your breath loud in the confine. Space. You tell yourself it was the wind or an animal, but the voice lingers in your mind, clear and haunting. You check your watch again. 11:45 p.m. The warning about midnight feels like a weight in your chest. You lie down, clutching your flashlight, and try to sleep, but your eyes keep drifting to the tent's entrance. Outside, the night is quiet. Too quiet. The night is quiet, and a story awaits. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so the night always finds you. You lie in your tent, the thin fabric doing little to ease the chill that settled into your bones. The flashlight rests in your hand, its beam off to save the battery, but your fingers twitch, ready to flick it on. The silence outside is oppressive, broken only by the river's constant rush, like a voice that never tires. You try to convince yourself that the voice you heard was a trick of the wind, but the way it said your name, so clear and deliberate, gnaws at you. You check your watch. 11:55 p.m. 5 minutes until midnight. Your friend's warning pulses in your mind, urging you to stay put, but curiosity burns hotter than fear. You unzip the tent just enough to peek out. The bridge is a dark silhouette. Against the mist, its stone arch barely visible in the moonlight. Nothing moves, yet the air feels charged, like the moment before a storm. You grab your camera, thinking maybe a photo will prove you're imagining things. The lens clicks, capturing the bridge, but when you check the screen, there's a faint blur near the far end, like a smudge of light. You zoom in, heart racing, but it's too vague to make out. A glitch, you tell yourself, though you don't. Believe it. You crawl out of the tent, your boots sinking into the damp earth. The fire's embers glow faintly, casting long shadows that twist like fingers. You take a few steps toward the bridge, stopping at the edge of the clearing. The lotus carving you saw earlier seems to glow faintly in the moonlight, though you're sure it's just a trick of the light. You call out, "Hello?" Your voice sounds small, swallowed by the night. No answer comes, but the air grows colder, and your breath clouds in front of you. You decide to investigate the shrine again, hoping it holds some clue. The path back to the village is short, and you move quickly, flashlight beam bouncing across the ground. The shrine looks the same, but the photograph of Mei Lin feels different now. her eyes seeming to follow you. You notice something you missed before, a small jade pendant hanging from the frame, carved with a lotus flower identical to the one on the bridge. You reach out to touch it, but a sudden rustle in the bush stops you. You spin around, flashlight, sweeping the darkness, but nothing's there. Your pulse hammers in your ears. Back at the bridge, you hesitate. It's past midnight now, 12:15 a.m. The warning feels like a chain holding you back, but the need to know pulls you forward. You step onto the bridge, your footsteps echoing louder than before. The mist thickens, curling around your ankles like a living thing. You reach the spot where you saw the lotus carving and notice something new, a faint inscription beside it, in Chinese characters. You don't read Mandarin well, but you recognize the name Mei Lin again. Your camera clicks, capturing the carving and the words, though your hands shake. Halfway across, the air shifts. It's subtle at first, a slight pressure, like someone standing too close. You turn, expecting to see nothing, but there she is. A woman in a white dress, her hair long and black, stands at the far end of the bridge. Her face is pale, almost luminous, and her eyes are fixed on you. You freeze, your breath catching. She doesn't move, but her presence is overwhelming, like a weight pressing on your chest. You try to speak, to ask who she is, but your voice sticks in your throat. You take a step back, and she mirrors you, gliding forward without a sound. Her movements are too smooth, unnatural, and you realize her feet don't touch the ground. Panic surges, but you force yourself to stay calm. You raise your camera, snapping a photo, the flash blinding in the dark. When your eyes adjust, she's closer, only a few feet away. Her lips part, and she whispers your name again, the sound curling into your mind like smoke. You stumble backward, nearly tripping, and she stops, watching you with those unblinking eyes. You turn and run, not caring how foolish you might look. The bridge seems longer than before, each step stretching into eternity. You reach the clearing and dive into your tent, zipping it shut with trembling hands. Your heart pounds so hard. It hurts, and you clutch the camera, checking the photo. The image shows the bridge, empty, except for a faint streak of white where she stood. You try to rationalize it, a trick of the light, a flaw in the lens, but deep down, you know better. You sit there listening. The river's sound is louder now, almost angry. You check your watch. 1 a.m. The night feels endless, and you wonder if you've made a mistake coming here. You think of the shrine, the pendant, the carving, and her face. Mei Lin. The name is a knot in your chest. You don't know her story yet, but you feel it pulling you in, like the river pulling at the stones. You lie down, flashlight still in hand, and tell yourself you'll leave at dawn. But sleep won't come. Outside, the bridge waits, and you know she's still there, watching. The night is quiet, and a story awaits. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so the night always finds you. You don't sleep. How could you? The image of the woman in white is burned into your mind, her pale face and unblinking eyes haunting every attempt to close yours. The tent feels like a flimsy shield, and the river's endless murmur outside seems to mock your unease. You grip your flashlight, its weight a small comfort, and check your watch. 3 a.m. The hours have crawled by, and the darkness outside is as thick as ever. You tell yourself you'll pack up and leave at first light, but a part of you, the part that chased this story to Qiaotou, refuses to let go. You unzip the tent and peer out, half expecting to see her standing there. The clearing is empty, the bridge a shadowy curve in the distance. Your fire is long dead, leaving only ash and the faint smell of smoke. You step outside, your boots crunching softly, and scan the bridge with your flashlight. The beam catches the lotus carving again, and you swear it glints, though there's no light to reflect. You shake your head, trying to clear the fog of fear, and decide to investigate the village. Maybe someone can tell you about Mei Lin, about the bridge, about what you saw. The path to the village is darker than you remember, the trees leaning closer, their branches like skeletal fingers. You pass the shrine again, and the photograph of Mei Lin seems to stare through you. You notice something new, a small offering of rice and flowers, fresh as if placed tonight. Your stomach twists. Who would come out here so late? You snap another photo, the flash making the pendant gleam, and hurry toward the village, your footsteps quickening. The houses are silent, their windows dark, but you spot a faint glow from a small tea house at the village's edge. The sign is weathered, but you can make out the words, Lotus Rest. You push open the creaking door, and a bell jingles faintly. Inside, the air smells of jasmine and old wood. An elderly woman sits behind a counter, her hands wrapped around a steaming cup. She looks up, her eyes sharp despite her age, and gestures for you to sit. You hesitate, then take a seat at a worn wooden table. You're the outsider, she says, her voice low and accented. Chasing ghosts, are you? You're startled. How does she know? You stammer something about the bridge, and her expression hardens. Mei Lin, she says, almost a whisper. You saw her, didn't you? You nod, your throat dry, and ask who she is. The woman, who introduces herself as Madame Wei, leans forward, her voice dropping lower. She was my sister's daughter, a beauty, but cursed by love. She tells you Mei Lin's story in fragments, as if the words are heavy. 20 years ago, Mei Lin was betrothed to a merchant's son, Liang, from a neighboring town. They were young, in love, and the village celebrated their union. But Ling's family hid a secret. He was already promised to another, a wealthy girl whose father held power. When Mei Lin learned of the betrayal, she confronted Liang on the bridge. Madame Wei's eyes glisten as she speaks. They argued. He pushed her, or she fell. No one knows. The river took her. You feel a chill, picturing Mei Lin's fall, the cold water closing over her. You ask why she haunts the bridge. Madame Wei shakes her head. She guards it. She waits for him. Liang never returned, but she doesn't rest. You mention they, voice calling your name, and Madame Wei's face pales. She doesn't call the living lightly, she says. You've stirred something. Be careful. She slides a cup of tea toward you, but you barely touch it, your mind racing. You leave. The tea house, the story sinking into you like damp air. The village feels different now, every shadow hiding a secret. You head back toward the bridge, drawn despite yourself. The mist is thinner, but the air is colder, and your flashlight flickers as you approach. You stop at the bridge's edge, your heart pounding. You call out, Mei Lin? The name feels heavy on your tongue. No answer comes, but you hear a soft splash from the river below, like a stone dropping. You aim your flashlight, but the water is dark, rippling endlessly. You step onto the bridge, your camera ready. The lotus carving seems to pulse under your touch, and you notice more inscriptions, faint and worn. You trace them, trying to make sense of the characters when you hear it again. Your name, whispered from the far end. You spin around, and there, she is closer than before, her white dress fluttering though there's no wind. Her eyes lock onto yours, and you feel a pull, like a tide dragging you under. You snap a photo, the flash blinding, and when you look again, she's gone. You stumble back to your tent, your breath ragged. The photo shows nothing but mist, but you're sure she was there. Madame Wei's words echo. She waits for him. You wonder if Mei Lin thinks you're connected to Liang, or if she's drawn to you for another reason. You check your watch. 4:30 a.m. Dawn is close, but the night feels alive, pressing in. You crawl into your tent, clutching your camera, and try to piece together what you've learned. Mei Lin's story is tragedy and rage, and you're caught in its current. You know you should leave, but the bridge calls to you, and you're not sure you can resist. The night is quiet, and a story awaits. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so the night always finds you. You huddle in your tent, the air inside stale and heavy. The flashlight lies beside you, its beam dimming as the batteries wane, but you don't dare. Turn it off. Madame Wei's story churns in your mind. Mei Lin, betrayed by love, lost to the river, now bound to the bridge. The way she said your name, the way her eyes locked onto yours, feels like a hook in your chest. You check your watch. 5:15 a.m. The first hints of dawn should be near, but the darkness outside remains stubborn, as if the night refuses to let go. You try to focus, flipping through your notebook. The lotus carving, the shrine, the pendant. Madame Wei's words, they all point to Mei Lin's unresolved pain. You wonder if she's trapped, unable to move on because of Liang's betrayal. Your camera sits in your lap, the photos you've taken taunting you with their blurs and streaks. You scroll through them again, pausing on the faint white smudge. From the bridge, is it her? Or are you seeing what you want to see, chasing a story that's already consuming you? A sound interrupts your thoughts, a low, rhythmic creaking, like wood under pressure. You freeze, listening. It's coming from the bridge. You unzip the tent and peer out, your breath catching. The bridge is shrouded in mist, but you see movement, a faint sway in the shadows. You grab your flashlight and camera, your heart thudding, and step outside. The air is colder now, biting at your skin, and the river's murmur feels louder, almost accusing. You approach the bridge cautiously, your flashlight beam trembling. The creaking grows clearer, and you realize it's not the bridge itself, but something on it. You stop at the edge, peering into the mist. A figure stands at the center, not Mei Lin this time, but a man. He's tall, dressed in dark clothes, his back to you. You call out, "Hey," but he doesn't turn. Instead, he takes a step forward, and the creaking stops. You blink, and he's gone, as if the mist swallowed him whole. Your legs feel weak, but you force yourself onto the bridge. The lotus carving is there, its edges sharp under your fingers. You notice something new, a faint stain on the stone, dark and irregular, like spilled ink. You kneel, touching it, and your fingers come. Away damp, It smells faintly metallic like blood. Your stomach lurches and you back away, your flashlight flickering. You snap a photo, the flash illuminating the stain for a moment before the darkness returns. You hear your name again, not from the bridge, but from the river below. The voice is hers, Mei Lin's, soft and insistent. You lean over the railing, shining your light down. The water is black, rippling with secrets, but you see something, a flicker of white, moving beneath the surface. You gasp, stepping back, and the bridge seems to sway under you. You tell yourself it's your imagination, but the air feels alive, pressing against you like a warning. You retreat to the clearing, your mind racing. Who was the man? Was it Liang or another ghost tied to this place? You think of Madame Wei's story, the betrayal, the fall. You wonder if Liang ever faced what he did, or if he fled, leaving Mei Lin to her fate. Your notebook is full of questions, but no answers. You decide to return to the tea house, hoping Madame Wei can tell you more. The village is still asleep as you walk, the houses silent, their roofs glistening with dew. Inside the tea house, Madame Wei is still there, as if she hasn't moved. She looks at you, her eyes narrowing. You went back, she says, not a question. You nod, telling her about the man, the stain, the voice from the river. Her face tightens and she pours you tea, her hands steady but slow. Liang, she says finally. Some say he came back years later, consumed by guilt. They say he stood on that bridge, begging her forgiveness, but she wouldn't give it. You ask if Liang is dead, if he's the man you saw. Madame Wei shrugs, her expression unreadable. No one knows. He vanished after that night. Some say he drowned himself, others say he ran. But if you saw him, she's pulling you into her story. She warned you again to be careful, her voice sharp. Mei Lin doesn't just haunt, she claims. You swallow hard, the tea bitter on your tongue. You ask about the stain, and she hesitates. Blood calls to blood, she says cryptically. The bridge remembers. You leave the tea house, the sky finally lightening to a dull gray. You feel exposed, as if the village itself is watching you. Back at your tent, you pack your things, torn between leaving and staying. The bridge looms in your mind, its pull undeniable. You check your camera again, zooming in on the photo of the stain. It's clearer than you expected, almost shaped like a handprint. Your skin crawls, and you wonder if Mei Lin is trying to tell you something, or if she's warning you to leave. You sit by the river, watching the water. The bridge is quiet now, but you feel her presence, a weight in the air. Your watch reads 6:30 a.m. You could leave, catch the next bus out, but the story isn't finished. You know it, and so does she. You pick up your notebook, writing down everything. The man, the stain, Madame Wei's words. The Lotus Pendant at the shrine flashes in your mind, and you wonder if it's the key to understanding Mei Lin's pain. You're not ready to cross the bridge again, not yet, but you know you will. The river keeps flowing, and the night isn't done with you. The night is quiet, and a story awaits. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so the night always finds you. You sit by the river, your notebook open but untouched, the weight of the morning pressing against you. The sky is a pale gray now, the first signs of dawn breaking through, but the air still carries the night's chill. The bridge looms behind you, silent yet alive, its stones holding secrets you're only beginning to unravel. The handprint shaped. Stain, the man on the bridge, Madame Wei's cryptic words, they swirl in your mind like the river's endless current. You know you should leave Qiaotou, pack your things and run from whatever haunts this place. But the story has its claws in you, and Mei Lin's presence feels like a tether you can't break. You decide to visit the shrine again, drawn to the Lotus Pendant that seems to connect everything. The path to the village is damp, the ground sucking at your boots. The shrine looks different in the faint light, less ominous, but no less heavy with meaning. Mei Lin's photograph stares out, her eyes piercing, and the pendant gleams as if polished. You reach out, hesitating, then lift it from its hook. It's heavier than it looks, the jade cool against your skin. The lotus carving is intricate, matching the one on the bridge perfectly. You slip it into your pocket, unsure why, but feeling its important dot. As you turn to leave, you hear a soft hum, like a melody carried on the wind. It's faint, but it pulls you back toward the bridge. You try to ignore it, telling yourself, it's just exhaustion playing tricks, but your feet move anyway, drawn like a moth to a flame. The bridge is empty, the mist thinning as the sun rises, but the hum grows louder, coming from the river. You lean over the railing, clutching the pendant, and see something in the water, a flicker of white, like a dress swirling in the current. Your heart skips, and you call out, Mei Lin? The hum stops, and the water stills. You step back, the pendant warm in your hand now, though you're sure it was cold a moment ago. You feel watched, not just by the bridge, but by the village itself. You decide to find Madame Wei again, hoping she can explain the pendant's significance. The tea house is quiet, the jasmine scent stronger now. Madame Wei is there, sweeping the floor, and she freezes when she sees you. Her eyes flick to your pocket, where the pendant rests, and her face tightens. You took it, she says, her voice sharp. You nod, pulling it out, and her expression softens, but only slightly. She sits you down, pouring tea you don't drink. That pendant was Mei Lin's, she says, given to her by Liang, a promise of their love. After she died, we placed it at the shrine to calm her spirit. You ask why it's important, and she leans closer, her voice low. It binds her to the bridge. As long as it's here, she can't leave, but taking it, she trails off, her eyes searching yours. You've called her to you now. Your stomach drops. You try to hand the pendant back, but she shakes her head. It's yours now. She chose you. You ask what she means, your voice trembling. Madame Wei sighs, her hands folding tightly. Mei Lin doesn't just haunt the bridge. She seeks someone to carry her pain, to finish what she couldn't. You've seen her, heard her. She's marked you. You think of the voice calling your name, the figure in white, the man on the bridge. You ask about him, and Madame Wei's lips thin. Liang's shadow, she says. Not his body, but his guilt. It lingers just like her anger. They're bound together, and now you're part of it. You leave the tea house, the pendant heavy in your pocket. The village feels smaller now. The house is closing in. You head back to the bridge, unsure what else to do. The sun is higher, but the air remains cold, and the river's murmur feels like a warning. You stand at the bridge's edge, the pendant in your hand, and notice something new. The handprint stain is gone, as if the stone swallowed it. You trace the lotus carving again, and the pendant pulses, almost like a heartbeat. You whisper, "What do you want?" But no answer comes. Then you hear it, the hum again, louder, coming from the bridge's center. You walk forward, your boots echoing, and see her. Mei Lin stands there, her white dress rippling, her eyes locked on you. She's closer than ever, her face clearer now, beautiful, but etched with sorrow. You hold up the pendant, and she tilts her head, as if recognizing it. "Why me?" you ask, your voice shaking. She doesn't speak, but her lips move, forming your name. The air grows heavy, and you feel a tug, like something pulling at your very soul. You stumble back, clutching the pendant. Mei Lin doesn't follow, but her gaze holds you, unyielding. You turn and run to your tent, your breath ragged. Inside, you shove the pendant into your backpack, hoping distance will break its hold. Your notebook is a mess of frantic scribbles now, and you write down everything. The pendant, Madame Wei's warning, Mei Lin's face. You check your watch, 8 a.m., the bus won't come until noon, and you're not sure you can wait that long. The bridge feels like a trap, and you're caught in it, tied to Mei Lin's story by a chain you can't see. You sit, staring at the tent's entrance, the pendant's weight lingering in your mind. You know you should return it to the shrine, but something stops you, a need to understand, to finish what you started. The hymn echoes faintly even here, and you wonder if Mei Lin is calling you back, or if the pendant is doing it for her. The day is young, but the bridge casts a long shadow, and you know you're not done with it yet. The night is quiet, and the story awaits. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, so the night always finds you. You sit in your tent, the pendant buried in your backpack, but its presence still heavy, like a stone pressing on your chest. The morning light filters through the trees, weak and gray, doing little to ease the dread that settled over you. The hum from the bridge lingers in your ears, faint but persistent, like a song you can't forget. You know you should return the pendant to the shrine, break whatever hold Mei Lin has on you, but the thought of facing her again, her sorrowful eyes, her silent pull, makes your hands shake. Yet the story pulls you harder, urging you to uncover what she wants, why she's chosen you. You check your watch, 9:30 a.m., the bus will arrive soon, your chance to escape Qiaotou and its haunted bridge. But leaving feels like abandoning the truth, and your notebook, filled with scribbled clues, demands answers. You pull out the pendant, its lotus carving glinting in the dim light. It's warm again, unnaturally so, and you wonder if it's tied to Mei Lin's spirit, a tether keeping her bound to this world. You decide to return to the bridge, not to cross it, but to observe, to see if you can learn more without stepping into her domain. The path to the bridge is quiet, the village still asleep under the weight of its secrets. The river's murmur grows louder as you approach, a constant reminder of Mei Lin's fate. You stop at the bridge's edge, keeping your distance, and study it. The lotus carving is there, as sharp as ever, but the stone looks different today, worn in places you hadn't noticed before, as if time was eroding it faster than it should. You raise your camera, snapping a photo, and notice something in the viewfinder, a shadow moving across the bridge, quick and fleeting. You lower the camera, heart pounding, but the bridge is empty. You check the photo, and there it is, a dark figure, blurred but distinctly human, standing where you saw the man last night. It's not Mei Lin, you're sure of it. The shape is taller, broader, and it sends a chill through you. Is this Liang's shadow, as Madame Wei called it? You scroll through your other photos, comparing them, and notice something you missed. In every image of the bridge, there's a faint distortion, like heat rising from the stones even in the cold. You hear footsteps behind you, heavy and real. You spin around expecting another ghost, but it's a man, an actual living man watching you from the path. He's middle-aged, his face weathered, wearing a worn jacket and carrying a basket of herbs. You're the one asking about the bridge, he says, his voice gruff. You nod, wary, and he introduces himself as Chun, a local herbalist. You should leave, he says bluntly. That place isn't for outsiders. You ask about Mei Lin, and his eyes darken. She doesn't rest, and she doesn't like being disturbed. You press him, mentioning the pendant, the shadow, the Chun's face tightens, and he glances at the bridge as if expecting to see her. That pendant was her heart, he says. Liang gave it to her, swore he'd marry her. After she died, he came back once, left it at the shrine, thinking. Did it free him? It didn't. You ask if Liang is alive, and Chun shrugs. No one's seen him in years, but his guilt's still here. You've felt it, haven't you? You nod, thinking of the man on the bridge, the stain that vanished. Chun warned you to put the pendant back, to leave before nightfall. She's angry, he says. Not just at Liang, at anyone who crosses her path. You thank him, but his words only fuel your need to understand. You head back to the shrine, the pendant heavy in your pocket. The photograph of Mei Lin seems to watch you as you approach, and you hesitate before placing the pendant back on its hook. The moment you do, the air shifts, like a sigh, and the hum stops. You feel lighter, but only for a moment. You return to the bridge, drawn despite Chun's warning. The sun is higher now, but the mist clings to the river, and the bridge feels alive, waiting. You step onto it just a few steps and call out, Mei Lin, I returned it. What do you want? Your voice echoes unanswered. Then you see her at the far end, her white dress stark against the gray stone. She's not looking at you this time. Her head is turned as if watching something in the distance. You follow her gaze, and there's the shadow, again the man. Standing at the river's edge, his form flickering like a bad signal. You raise your camera, but before you can take a photo, Mei Lin moves. She glides toward the shadow, and you hear a low, anguished cry, not from her, but from him. The sound cuts through you, raw and desperate, and you stumble back, your foot catching on a loose stone. The shadow vanishes, and Mei Lin turns to you, her eyes blazing with something new anger, not sorrow. You run, your breath ragged, and don't stop until you're back at your tent. Inside. You clutch your notebook, writing frantically, the shadow, Chun's story, Mei Lin's cry. The pendant is back at the shrine, but you feel no relief. You check your watch. 11 a.m. The bus is coming soon, but you know you won't be on it. Mei Lin's story is unfinished, and you're part of it now, whether you want to be or not. The bridge waits, and so does she, her anger a current pulling you deeper. You wonder if the shadow is Liang, trapped like her, or something else entirely. The day is slipping away, and you know the night will bring her back. The night is quiet, and a story awaits. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so the night always finds you. You sit in your tent, the weight of the day pressing down on you like the damp air. Your notebook is open, pages filled with frantic notes about Mei Lin, the pendant, the shadow, and the cry that still echoes in your ears. The bridge feels like a living thing now, its presence creeping into your thoughts, pulling you back no matter how much you want to run. You return the pendant to the shrine, hoping it would break the connection, but Mei Lin's anger, those blazing eyes, tells you it's not enough. You're in too deep, and the story isn't letting you go. You check your watch. 1 p.m. the bus has come and gone, and you're still here, unable to leave. The village feels smaller, the trees closer, as if Qiaotou itself is closing in. You decide to seek out Chun, the herbalist, hoping he knows more about Liang's shadow. You find him near the village edge, sorting herbs under a crooked awning. His eyes narrow when he sees you, and he shakes his head. "You didn't leave," he says, more resigned than surprised. You ask about the shadow, the cry, and he sighs, setting his basket down. Liang's guilt is as trapped as she is. Chun says, his voice low. He came back, years after her death, begging her to forgive him. Stood on that bridge, weeping like a child. But Mei Lin doesn't forgive. You ask if the shadow is Liang's ghost, and Chun shrugs. Maybe, or maybe it's what he left behind, a piece of him, stuck like her. The bridge holds them both. He warns you again to stay away, but you can't. You need to know why Mei Lin's anger turned to you, what she wants. You head back to the bridge, your camera slung around your neck, your flashlight freshly charged. The afternoon sun is weak, casting long shadows that stretch across the stones. You stop at the shrine first, checking the pendant. It's still there, but the photograph of Mei Lin feels different now, her expression sharper, almost accusing. You snap a photo, the flash, making the jade gleam, and notice a faint reflection in the glass, a flicker of white behind you. You spin around, heart racing, but the path is empty dot at the bridge. The air is heavy, the river's murmur louder than ever. You step onto the stones, your boots echoing, and feel a shift, like the world tilting slightly. You call out, "Mei Lin, I'm here. Tell me what you need." Your voice trembles, but you stand firm, clutching the camera. The mist thickens, curling around you, and you hear the hum again, low and mournful. You raise the camera, scanning the bridge, and see her at the far end, her white dress glowing faintly. She's not alone. The shadow is there too, kneeling at her feet, its form flickering like a dying flame. You snap a photo, the flash cutting through the mist, and the shadow flinches, letting out another anguished cry. Mei Lin doesn't move, her eyes fixed on you, not the shadow. You feel a pull, stronger than before, like a current dragging you toward her. You take a step, then another, drawn despite the fear clawing at your chest. The pendant's absence feels like a mistake now, as if it was the only thing keeping her at bay. You stop halfway across, your breath shallow, and ask, "Why me? What do you want?" Her lips move, but no sound comes at first. Then a whisper, not your name this time, but a single word, "Truth." The air grows colder, and the shadow rises, its form clearer now, a man's face, twisted with guilt, eyes hollow. You recognize the shape from your photos, the same blur you've seen before. You snap another picture, your hands shaking, and the shadow vanishes, leaving Mei Lin alone. She glides closer, her movements slow, deliberate, and you feel the bridge tremble under you as if the stones themselves are. Waking, you back away, your heart pounding so hard it hurts. The hum grows louder, vibrating in your chest, and you stumble, catching yourself on the railing. The lotus carving is under your hand, and it feels warm, almost alive. You look at Mei Lin, now only a few feet away, and see something new in her eyes' desperation. Truth, she whispers again, and you realize she's not angry at you, but at what's unfinished. Liang's betrayal, his guilt, her death, it's all trapped here, and you've stumbled into it. You run back to the clearing, your breath ragged and collapse by your tent. The photos on your camera show Mei Lin clearly now, her face sharp, the shadow at her feet. You write it all down, your pen shaking, the shadow, the cry, the word truth. You think of Chun's words, Madame Wei's warnings, the pendant's weight. Mei Lin wants something revealed, something Liang hid, but you don't know what. The bridge feels like a stage, and you're an unwilling actor in a play you don't understand. You check your watch, 3:30 p.m. The day is slipping away, and night will come soon. You know you can't leave, not yet. The truth Mei Lin seeks is out there, maybe in the village, maybe on the bridge. You pack your notebook and camera, determined to find it before the darkness returns. The river keeps flowing, its voice a constant reminder of her fall, and you feel her watching, waiting for you to uncover what she can't. The night is quiet, and a story awaits. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, so the night always finds you. You stand by your tent, the afternoon sun sinking toward the horizon, casting the bridge in a golden haze that feels more like a warning than a comfort. Your notebook is heavy with the weight of Mei Lin's story, her betrayal, her fall, the shadow of Liang's guilt, and her whispered demand for truth. The pendant is back at the shrine, but its warmth lingers in your memory as if it marked. You know this is your last chance to uncover what she needs, to free yourself from the pull of the bridge before night falls again. The river's murmur is relentless, urging you forward, and you feel her presence, waiting. You decide to return to the bridge one final time, camera in hand, determined to face Mei Lin and find the truth she seeks. The village is quiet, the houses shuttered as if bracing for something. You pass the shrine, and Mei Lin's photograph seems to shimmer, her eyes following you. The pendant hangs still, but you swear it sways slightly, though there's no breeze. You keep walking, your heart pounding, the bridge looming ahead like a gate to another world. As you step onto the stones, the air thickens, the river's voice growing louder, almost a roar. You call out, "Mei Lin, I'm here. Show me the truth." Your words echo, and the mist rises, curling around you like a shroud. You raise your camera, scanning the bridge, and see her at the center, her white dress glowing faintly. The shadow is there too, kneeling again, its form clearer, now a man's. Face etched with pain, eyes pleading. You recognize him from your photos, the same blur that's haunted you. You take a step closer, your boots heavy on the stone. What happened? You ask, your voice steady despite the fear clawing at you. Mei Lin's eyes meet yours, and the first time you see tears, shimmering like the river below. She points to the shadow, and it rises, turning to face you. Its mouth opens, and a voice, broken and raw, speaks. I didn't mean to, it says. I loved her. Your blood runs cold. This is Liang, or what's left of him, trapped in his guilt. You snap a photo, the flash illuminating the bridge, and the shadow flinches, its form flickering. Mei Lin glides closer, her hand outstretched, not to you but to the shadow. You feel the air shift, a pressure building, and the lotus carving under your hand pulses, warm and alive. You realize the truth she wants isn't for you to uncover, but for Liang to confess. You speak to the shadow, your voice firm. Tell her, say what you did. The shadow trembles, and Liang's voice comes again, weaker. I pushed her. I was angry. I didn't mean for her to fall. Mei Lin's cry cuts through the air, sharp and piercing, and the bridge shakes, stones groaning under your feet. You stumble, clutching the railing, and see her move toward Liang's shadow, her face a mix of sorrow and rage. The mist swirls violently, and you hear the river surge, as if it's rising to meet her. You shout, Mei Lin, he's confessed. Let it go. But she doesn't stop. The shadow dissolves, fading into the mist, and Mei Lin turns to you, her eyes softer now, but still heavy with pain. You feel a tug, not physical, but deep inside, like something pulling at your soul. The pendant's warmth flashes in your mind, and you realize she's not just seeking Liang's truth, she's seeking release. You run to the shrine, your breath ragged, and grab the pendant, ignoring the way it burns in your hand. You return to the bridge, holding it up. Take it, you say, be free. Mei Lin's eyes widen, and she reaches for it, her fingers brushing yours. The touch is cold, electric, and the pendant glows, its lotus carving blazing. The mist clears, and the bridge stills. Mei Lin's form begins to fade, her dress dissolving into light. You hear a final whisper, not your name, but thank you. The shadow is gone, the river quieter now, its anger spent. You stand alone, the pendant cool in your hand, its glow gone. You place it back at the shrine, and the photograph of Mei Lin seems different, her eyes closed, as if at peace. The village feels lighter, the air less heavy, and you know she's gone, her story finally told. You pack your tent, your notebook filled with the truth of the bridge. The photos on your camera are clear now, showing Mei Lin and Liang's shadow, their story captured in light and shadow. You walk to the village, the sun setting behind you, and find Madame Wei at the tea house. She nods, as if she knows. You did what she needed, she says. You don't ask how she knows, just thank her and leave, catching the evening bus out of Qiaotou. As the bus rattles away, you look back at the valley, the bridge a faint line in the dusk. You feel lighter, but the story stays with you, a weight you'll carry into your next tale. You open your notebook, writing the final lines. Mei Lin's truth, Liang's confession, a bridge that no longer holds them. The night is quiet now, and you're ready for what comes next. That's tonight's tale. If it stayed with you, like, subscribe, and tap the bell. We'll meet again soon in the dark.